We reached the third round of matches then in this year's group stages of the Champions League. Real Madrid against Inter Milan, certainly the standout tie. Before we get to that, let's focus, shall we, on Atalanta against Liverpool. Liverpool, of course, going to the tie, having won both of their opening matches. Gab Marcotti joins us, as does Stevie Nicol. Stevie, considering it's Manchester City at the weekend, how do you approach this game if you're Liverpool?
Oh, that's a tough one. You know, I guess I believe that both Atalanta and Liverpool are going to qualify from this group comfortably. And so that means that if you're Klopp and you've got City coming up, you can afford not to put your first team out. I mean, the other side of that is, right now, I would suggest that Liverpool should be thinking about somehow batting down a back line and sticking with it. So, you know, I don't think Phillips is available for this game, so that means Reece Williams is going to have to come in and play. So I would suggest that you play your proper back line. I think you can make changes in the middle of the park and up front, but I think you have to get the back line playing together. And as I said, whether it's Phillips or Williams, ultimately, you've got to get some cohesion going. So definitely play your proper defenders. But as far as the game, I don't think it's hugely important for either side. I don't believe Ajax and Midtjylland can qualify from this group.
Gab from Atalanta, nice time to play Liverpool.
Yeah, it's obviously a good time to play Liverpool, given the injuries that are there, from Van Dijk to Fabinho to Thiago Alcantara. Joel Matip and Naby Keita are obviously coming back as well, but they've started training again. But I don't know that Klopp would risk them for the first minute. He wants all his options for the big game at the weekend against City. The Klopp's record in Italy against Serie A clubs isn't good. So if you're superstitious there, that might make you think over the two legs. But I think in general, if you're Atalanta, you've had your ups and downs. Romelu Gosens is day to day. Darun definitely out, but beyond that, they're going to put out a pretty competitive team. Romero fit as well, and they love the idea of taking 3 points off of Liverpool at this stage.
Meanwhile, Real Madrid against Inter Milan was always going to be a big tie when you took a look at the draw. It's an even bigger tie, Gab, when you're looking at how both teams have started, well, not started, this qualification process.
Yeah, nobody was expecting, I think this current table in the group. I think what's tricky for Inter, obviously, there's no Lukaku. The indication is that Conte is going to play Ivan Perisic with Lautaro up front because Alexis Sanchez only has one training session under his belt. That did not work great at the weekend against Parma. From Real Madrid's perspective, obviously they're coming off that big win at the weekend. You got the lift from the fact that Eden Hazard, started, scored a great goal. If you keep him fit, I think, and he's anything like the player he was supposed to be when he joined, then I think all of a sudden, things really look up for Zinedine Zidane, because you've got the option of the front two. You can play the front three. So from Real Madrid's perspective, this is a good time, and I think Zidane will feel that he's in a good place, as long as, obviously, if they deliver the result here.
But they're so incredibly inconsistent at the moment, Real Madrid, Stevie. That's the issue.
Well, they are, but I guess the good thing is, I mean, I look at this game and it's all about momentum. Real Madrid get Hazard back. They win the Clásico. They get Hazard back, scores a fantastic goal, and they're on the up. And Inter are absolutely the opposite. They lose the man that really is Mr. Inter right now, and that's Lukaku. So you got one team going one way, and the other one going the opposite way. So as average as Real Madrid have been, I just don't see Inter Milan beating Real Madrid. It could be a draw. It's possible to be a draw, but Inter Milan don't win it.
Gab, were you going to argue that they're not inconsistent?
I actually think, I know we disagree on this, I thought they played well in the Clásico. Huesca aren't great, but whatever. But in between the Gladbach game, yeah, they needed those 2 late goals, and certainly in terms of results, they weren't consistent. But I thought they actually played really well in that game as well. So they're developing, at least over the span of 3 games, I think they're certainly developing a little bit more of a consistency.
Gab, come on, you're against Gladbach, you need a late winner. You're 2-0 down again.
So what, you played better,
weak.
you created more chances? I'm sorry, I'm not about results, I'm about performances too, Gab. I make no apologies for that. You know, this is football, it's a low-scoring game. Sometimes you can play really well and need a last-minute equalizer to equalize.
Stevie doesn't think Inter are going to get anything from this. Do you agree?
Not if they play like they did at the weekend. Look, the problem with Inter is that when Lukaku is there, then everything falls into place. Not because Lukaku carries the team, but because Conte's patterns of play, they become effective. Lukaku has the right movements. He holds the ball up. He lays it off. When Lukaku, who is a big, strong, tall man, is replaced by Ivan Perisic, who is a smaller, thinner man with different qualities, and who's not a center forward, everything changes. And it becomes a case of individuals trying to do something. Inter still have a lot of good players. You saw it at the weekend. You know, whether it's Eriksen, Brozovic, Lautaro, Hakimi, all these guys can do things individually, but they no longer are what Conte wants them to be, which is a collective. They no longer have the same patterns of play, and it becomes a lot tougher for them to get the job done, let alone against a top side like Real Madrid.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.